Tell us the two best technical charts in the market as of now. We've corrected fairly decently both on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty over the last 2-3 weeks. So prices have moderated. Tell me what looks good on the charts.
So yes, two names, Shalji, and both these stocks we like and we hold in our portfolio, and we believe these are structural trends. So one is Policy Bazaar. We mentioned about Policy Bazaar in your show almost a month back, and we have been maintaining a positive about this both these names in the new age businesses, which are Policy Bazaar and Zomato. So Zomato has turned profitable, and we saw what kind of massive positive reaction market gave it once it showed numbers, and that's the same trend we are witnessing in Policy Bazaar. We discussed about the long term charts last time when the stock we said is forming a good rounding bottom formation on the weekly, monthly, and even the longer term chart frame. We are seeing decent amount of traction in terms of the delivery activity which we are witnessing in the stock. So my sense is, Policy Bazaar has formed a very strong base around 730 740 zone. If we maintain this support levels of 730 on a sustainable basis, my sense is we are heading towards 900 to 1000 kind of trajectory in coming few months. So I think it's a positional trade which looks very promising from a medium to long term perspective. If you look at the growth of insurance as a sector, it is growing around 14 to 15%, but Policy Bazaar per se is growing at around 30% kind of growth rate. So this gives us a very strong visibility that the kind of insurance penetration we are going to witness, Policy Bazaar would be the biggest beneficiary of this mega trend which is going to emerge on the insurance as a basket. My second bet would be stock which we again like and hold in portfolio is Shriram Finance. So Shaji, you're mentioning
Ashish bhai,
about
let's discuss. Ashish bhai, let's just discuss Policy Bazaar in a bit here. Remember the issue price for Policy Bazaar was 940 to 980. In fact, 980, and the stock really has outperformed the broader market. If you see from the lows of about 391 in the beginning of February, we have a price about 781. So that's a phenomenal rise that we've seen. Remember the all-time high for this stock was about 1445, but that was after the very strong response in IPO, and then the stock had tanked. So Ashish has this knack of picking up stocks which do some great calisthenics on the chart, and distinctly I remember about 1 month ago when he had come, the stock was about at 650 and now at 781. What's the medium term outlook here, Ashish? Do you see 4 digits coming, or at least the IPO price?
Yeah, so that's what I mentioned. At least in the immediate medium term, I'm looking for 1000 kind of trajectory in the stock. But I think it's more like a structural story because insurance penetration is at extremely low level. We are going to see a lot of traction there, and Policy Bazaar would be a biggest beneficiary of the trend. So my sense is, it's more structural. If one holds it for next 1 to 2 years time frame, I see very strong possibility stock should eventually cross its previous all-time high, which is around 1450 to 1500 kind of trajectory. So this gives us a very strong visibility that at least in next 2 years time frame, stock should positionally give a CAGR of almost 30% kind of CAGR in terms of price appreciation. But at least in the medium term, I'm looking for 1000 kind of levels in the stock, which implies good 20-22% kind of upside.
And Ashish bhai, your second stock?
So second stock would be stock like Shriram Finance, and as I was listening to your discussion, you were talking about Poonawalla. We also hold the stock, and we really like the structural trend which is emerging in stocks like Poonawalla, which are beneficiary of obviously the NBFC space, but also about fintech. And I think if you look at the other pick which we like at this point of time is Shriram Finance. And if you look at the valuation of Shriram Finance, it is at a very comfortable zone of one time price to book versus if you look at the peers trading at almost 3 to 4 time price to book. Obviously, because of the strong credit growth, the peers are witnessing versus Shriram doing almost 17-18% kind of loan growth. But looking into the valuation of almost one time price to book, it gives us a lot of comfort at these levels that Shriram Finance could be a structural trend. And if you look at the long term charts of Shriram Finance, it has been consolidating for almost, I would say, a good 4 or 5 years. And in the last 2 3 months post specifically this selling, we are witnessing some kind of price appreciation, but it gives us comfort that at below at one time price to book, and with almost 4 or 5 years of consolidation, now Shriram Finance is poised for a decisive move. We are looking for a target of 2100 to 2200 in next 2 3 months time frame in Shriram Finance, and there is a very strong breakout which has happened around 1750 levels. So 1750 should be looked as a very strong support for Shriram Finance, whereas on upside I'm looking for an upside towards 2200 levels in the stock.
Wonderful discussion happening on the entire NBFC space, and despite a record high on Shriram Finance, as Ashish mentions very succinctly, it's an undervalued stock. You will not believe the PE. It's sub 12 in a market which is near record highs. The price to book is 1.5, and if you look at the 10-year average PE for the company, the price to earnings, like I mentioned, was 11.76, and the average is 14.55. So the company is quoting at a lower valuation than its own 10-year average, both on price to earnings and on price to book, which is 1.53 versus a 10-year average of 1.75. Earnings yield is 9.6%, and the stock on average has compounded at 11% over the last 10 years. Remember, as Ashish says, it is only now that after so much of consolidation that a very strong breakout has happened. A lower valuation on Shriram Finance obviously means that institutional players would be looking at the stock, and at a market cap of about 68,700 crores. The company has a revenue of about 29,000 crores on a trailing 12-month basis, and a net worth of about 43,000 crores. Trailing 12-month earnings are about 5,800 crores. So these are the two stocks that Ashish recommends: Shriram Finance and PB Infotech.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.